the tech is interesting and it's cool, but there isn't really like the right market fit or like business prop for that area specifically, right? Yeah.
I think, the way that I thought about it when I was working here, like, we use a water jet, a logic prototype, and a lot of parts out there are made by casting and finishing machining. And I think the way I was thinking about it at Rapidia was, this is a great way to make something quickly that sort of is almost like a water jet part. In a sense, this is a 3D version where you can make something that's, near net, that you can then go finish machine and pretty quickly have a relatively complicated part, arbitrary angles and potentially organic shapes and weight and that kind of thing. And I think the machines were just not quite there to deliver that promise. And part of it is this reliability story where just tying all those pieces together is tricky.
Yeah, that makes sense. Any comments from you guys? I mean, Ian, you probably do some metal 3D printing.
What I would say is that the sweet spot for metal tends to be parts that are so complicated that there's no other way to make them geometrically. So that really benefits laser and powder-based processes because the constraints on geometry are the most minimal because they're never going to be cheaper than a machined part. So if you can send it to China and get something CNC for almost impossibly low prices, that's very appealing. The only reason to consider it is when you're starting to design things that are so complex. In my opinion, that's what we tend to see is stuff that's just complexity exceeds any other way to make it. And very often my response to people looking at the metal parts, if I feel like somebody's, let's not say about to waste my time, but insert polite way to say that instead, is there another way for you to make this part? Oh, there is? Do that. Because it's going to be cheaper.
Yeah, and I think I've thought about metal printing for so long, and I think there's, in my entire career, there's only one time when we actually metal 3D printed something, and it wasn't even that interesting. It was just like a block with a bunch of holes in it.
Yeah, so you mentioned that it's only these really complex parts, but don't forget plastic printing exists, so it's not only does it have to be really complicated, it has to either be extra high stiffness or hardness or high temperature. So you're sort of reducing the applications. I think.